Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Billy Napier and the Florida Gators land another commitment to what is a phenomenal 2024 class in three-star defensive lineman Kendall Jackson. Looking at some of the schools that should beat out for him, right? Had offers from Arkansas, Kentucky, Miami. The Florida Gators end up getting him to stay home. He's from Gainesville, Florida. I'm a really big fan of what Kendall Jackson brings to the table. Before we get into Kendall Jackson as the player, I want to talk about how I'm so optimistic about what Billy Napier is doing in this 2024 class. And having talked to a lot of Florida Gators fans in the comment section, we've kind of established that one of the biggest problems with this Florida defense last year was just the lack of depth on that defensive line. Billy Napier took a look at that. I think identified that. He goes to the transfer portal, brings in guys like Cam Jackson, Caleb Banks, but he's also in the 2024 class getting after it in terms of getting guys on the defensive line. And Kendall Jackson is a perfect fit in terms of what Austin Armstrong in this defense wants to do. Not only is he providing depth in terms of versatility, like this dude can play on the outside, he has that frame to kind of play on the inside as well, sitting at 250 pounds as a rising senior, but he's also a guy that just can get after the passer and do a lot of different things that Austin Armstrong is going to ask of that defense. So you're going to see a lot of different defensive fronts, and Kendall Jackson can kind of fill in wherever you need him. Before we get into Kendall Jackson, just want to say thank you to you guys, and the support you guys have shown through the recruiting trail has been absolutely awesome. We've been talking a ton of Florida Gators football as they've been one of the hottest teams on the trail. Can't thank you guys enough for all the support. Almost at 7,000 subscribers, which is truly mind-blowing. And I love talking recruiting, and you guys have just been supporting the boys in such a meaningful way. So if you do enjoy the updates, you enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Going to try to cover as many of these commitments as I can. Let's get into Kendall Jackson. And the first thing I want to talk about with Kendall Jackson is just being a productive football player. And that's something that I feel like gets overlooked in terms of recruiting. You're always looking at the traits. And I feel like what gets lost in the conversation is what are they actually doing on Friday nights? Kendall Jackson, his junior year, 22 tackles for a loss, 12 and a half sacks. And talk about impact plays, 2 interceptions, one of which he returned to it for a pick six, and 2 forced fumbles. This is a guy that has put it on display Friday night. He has the traits that I think you'll like. And again, the versatility is what I love most about Kendall Jackson. And getting into the film, like you have to absolutely love. I had to go back when I turned on the film to kind of prep this. I was like, all right, Kendall Jackson, I saw this first play and I saw, am I looking at the right guy? Because he doesn't look like a regular 250-pound guy, moves off the line of scrimmage. How explosive and how twitched up Kendall Jackson is. Really, really exciting. You're going to see him get off the ball in a meaningful way. He seems most comfortable on the edge. And I mean, you see, just leaves that tackle in the absolute dirt. Great closing speed to make a play on the quarterback. Kendall Jackson, I think he's most comfortable on edge, but again, that frame allows him to play all over the line of scrimmage, which you'll see on the film. But man, does he have some twitched up closing speed that he brings. And you're also going to see, like this play right here, a really refined pass rusher, like knows how to use his hands, win on the inside. That's something that you don't really see a lot from these high school kids in terms of just being a refined pass rusher, having some tools in the tool bag or having some moves in the move bag, I guess you'd say. Wins on the inside, uses his hands to disengage, gets in and makes a play on the football. Kendall Jackson wins in a lot of different ways. He can win with burst. He can win right through a tackle, which you'll see right here. I love guys who kind of bring all of that. And then the next play, which is so exciting, is you see a little of the versatility, right? You're going to see him line up on the inside and be productive as well. And again, Kendall Jackson, if he fills out to maybe 265 pounds, could be a guy that you can line up on the inside on third and longs and get some real pass rush production. And you're going to see like this guard just really struggles to deal with the length and the athleticism and the movement that Kendall Jackson brings on the inside as well, because you're going to see him absolutely get to work on this left guard. Kendall Jackson is, so again, it's a 3-star get, and I feel like you see on Twitter, like the Billy Napier haters, like, oh, like another 3-star added to the class. This is a quality guy, and again, so you have to have these guys. You have to have the depth pieces in this class, and I think Kendall Jackson is exactly what you're looking for. And to kind of recap what Florida's doing in this 2024 class, we've talked extensively about guys like DJ Lagway. I love Miles Graham coming out of Atlanta, Georgia. But taking a look, I mean, you could extend this conversation to the front seven. Like, you got 2 really good linebackers in Miles Graham and Darius Hayes, and Aaron Childs, who, in my opinion, might be the best out of all of them. But then you look at the defensive line, Jamonta Waller coming out of the state of Mississippi as we get this advertisement out of here. Jamonta Waller, he's an absolute stud coming off the edge. And you look at guys like Amaris Williams, you look at guys like Nasir Johnson, and then you even go down and talk about adding depth. We have Kendall Jackson. You have a guy like Mekhi Boru as well, who's 6'5", 390, who you have guys like, okay, he's only going to be kind of like Watson. Like, I'm going to be kind of in the middle on first and second down, try to stop the run. And then you have guys like Kendall Jackson who can come in and maybe provide some pass rush from the inside when you get to those third and longs. Really happy with what Billy Napier is doing on the trenches, because whenever I watched Florida last year, it always seemed like the depth just wasn't there on that team. Guys like Gervon Dexter, we've talked about this a lot. Guys like Gervon Dexter was playing all these snaps because they didn't have guys in the back that you really felt good about. And you even go back to the 2023 class, you have a bunch of guys that you feel great about. A guy like Kelby Collins, really excited about what he's going to bring to the table as well. And another guy that can play on the inside, can play on the outside. He's looking day by day like he's going to be playing more on the inside because that dude is getting absolutely massive. If you're a Florida Gators fan, you got to be really excited about not only the players that they're getting, but the position groups, right? And building that defensive line back up. And something we said a lot, Billy Napier has chosen to do this, in my opinion, the right way. We're going to recruit the high school guys. We're going to get them into the program and we're going to develop them. There's a quick fix, right, where you can go to the transfer portal. And I think Billy Napier went to the transfer portal to an extent. You don't see many new coaches not ignore the transfer portal, but not attack the transfer portal as much. Billy Napier seems to be really focused on getting these guys out of the high school ranks and getting them developed. And I think that's going to pay dividends in years of 2024 and 2025. And I know Florida Gator fans probably tired of hearing me say this, but that I really do think is the years you got to be really excited about for Florida. Like this, I'm not saying they're going to compete for an SEC title in 2023, but man, when you get to 2025 and you take a look at who they're bringing in at the high school ranks, that's when you got to be really excited. Give Billy Napier's time because this ship is clearly going in the right direction. Got to be really pumped if you're a Florida fan. I'm excited. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys again. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.